Oman. It's not exactly the first name that pops into your head when you think ancient civilizations, but maybe it should be. You've got your Egypts, your Greeces, even your Mesopotamias getting all the glory. These places are often the headliners in the story of human history. But Oman? Oman's been quietly chilling on the southeastern tip of the Arabian Peninsula, watching empires rise and fall like it's a season finale of historical drama. It's like the wise old sage of the region, observing and learning. Turns out Oman has stories. Stories that stretch back thousands of years, hidden beneath its sands and mountains. We're talking way back. Before Instagram, before Twitter, even before those guys with the chariots were a thing. This land was bustling with life and activity long before the modern era. Archaeological digs have unearthed cities buried by time, whispering tales of sophisticated civilizations that thrived on trade and, surprisingly, frankincense. Yes, frankincense. This aromatic resin was more than just a pleasant scent, it was a cornerstone of ancient commerce. Before it was the scented candle of the ancient world, it was big business in Oman. The frankincense trees were like the oil wells of their time, a source of immense wealth. We're talking gold rush levels of wealth, all thanks to these fragrant trees. The demand for frankincense was so high that it fueled a thriving trade network. It's enough to make you wonder if your ancestors were using the good stuff, or just settling for generic incense. The quality and value of frankincense from Oman were unmatched. But it wasn't just about the sweet smells of success. Oman's influence extended far beyond its aromatic exports. Oman's strategic location at the mouth of the Persian Gulf made it a prime spot for trade. This position allowed it to control and facilitate the movement of goods between the East and the West. Think of it as the ancient world's version of a bustling port city, where ships laden with spices, textiles, and probably some questionable souvenirs docked and departed, connecting East and West. It was a melting pot of cultures and commerce. It was like a constant party, but instead of a hangover, they got economic prosperity. Not a bad trade-off. Oman's legacy is a testament to its enduring significance in the tapestry of human history. Okay, so Oman had this frankincense thing going for it, but it wasn't just any old resin, it was the best of the best, highly sought after for its unique aroma and medicinal properties. But how do you go from selling fancy air freshener to ruling a trading empire? It's a story of strategic brilliance and geographical advantage. Well, it's all about location, location, location. Oman sat smack dab on the incense route, a network of ancient trade routes that snaked its way from the Mediterranean to India. This prime position allowed Oman to become a central hub in the global trade network. Think of it as the Silk Road, but with a slightly more pungent aroma. Caravans laden with frankincense would traverse harsh deserts and perilous mountains, all to bring this precious commodity to distant lands. This prime real estate meant Oman controlled the flow of frankincense, which, trust me, was a pretty big deal back in the day. The control over this trade allowed Oman to amass great wealth and power. Temples couldn't get enough of it, using it in religious ceremonies to purify the air and please the gods. Pharaohs were obsessed with it, often being buried with large quantities to use in the afterlife. And everyone from Roman emperors to Chinese nobles was willing to pay top dollar, or, the ancient equivalent, for a whiff of that sweet, sweet resin. It was a status symbol, a luxury item that signified wealth and sophistication. All this trade brought in serious wealth, allowing Oman to flex its muscles and expand its influence. The riches from frankincense trade funded the construction of grand cities and impressive infrastructure. By the way, you know those stories about frankincense being gifted to baby Jesus? It was considered a gift fit for a king. Yeah, that was probably Omani frankincense. Just saying. So next time you catch a whiff of this ancient aroma, remember it's not just a scent, it's a piece of history. Fast forward a few centuries and the world is getting a major makeover. Civilizations are rising and falling, and the stage is set for a new player to make a grand entrance. Enter Islam, stage left, making its grand debut in the 7th century AD. This new religion brought with it a wave of cultural and intellectual transformation. Now, Oman wasn't exactly an early adopter. They were doing pretty well for themselves with the whole frankincense empire thing. Their trade routes were bustling and their economy was thriving. But eventually Islam's message of unity and equality resonated with the Omanis, and they joined the burgeoning Islamic empire. This was a significant turning point in their history. This wasn't just a change of religion, it was a cultural and societal shift. The adoption of Islam influenced every aspect of Omani life, from governance to daily customs. Mosques popped up faster than Starbucks in a gentrified neighborhood, and Islamic law became the order of the day. These mosques became centers of learning and community. Oman, now a part of the Islamic world, continued to thrive as a center of trade and scholarship. The markets were bustling and the libraries were filled with scholars and students. They even got really into shipbuilding, crafting these beautiful ocean-going vessels called dhows. These ships were not just functional but also a testament to Omani craftsmanship. Imagine a wooden ship, but instead of looking like a pirate's getaway car, it's elegant, sleek, and built for speed. These dhows were the pride of Omani maritime tradition. Basically, Omanis were the cool kids on the high seas. Their ships were admired and respected, making them key players in maritime trade routes across the Indian Ocean. Remember that whole strategic location thing? Yeah, it turns out that what made Oman attractive to traders also made it a prime target for, well, less friendly visitors. Case in point, the Portuguese. In the 16th century, these guys were on a mission to dominate the spice trade, and they weren't afraid to use their fancy new cannons to do it. So the Portuguese rocked up on Oman's shores, bringing with them some innovative architectural ideas in the form of imposing fortresses. They basically set up shop along Oman's coastline like that friend who crashes on your couch for a weekend and ends up staying for a month. Except, in this case, it was over a century. The Omanis weren't exactly thrilled about this whole arrangement, and they spent the next 100 years or so giving the Portuguese a serious run for their money. Spoiler alert, the Omanis eventually kicked them out, because nobody messes with Oman's coastline. The year is 1744, and a new dynasty takes the stage in Oman, the Al Said family. And let's be real, they weren't messing around. They consolidated power, kicked out the last vestiges of Portuguese influence, like that one sock that always gets lost in the laundry, and said, okay, time to get serious about this whole ruling thing. The Al Said dynasty wasn't just about sitting on a throne and looking regal, though they did that too. They expanded Oman's influence, building a maritime empire that stretched all the way to Zanzibar. They also focused on internal development, promoting trade, agriculture, and a sense of national identity. It was like Oman got a serious upgrade, from its infrastructure to its international standing. Think of it as a historical glow-up. Fast forward to the 20th century, and Oman's story takes another dramatic turn. Oil, that black gold that everyone was suddenly talking about, was discovered in Oman. Now you might be thinking, here we go again, another country struck by the oil curse. But Oman, always the overachiever, decided to do things a little differently. Instead of going on a spending spree and ending up with a bunch of gold-plated sports cars, Oman invested its newfound wealth wisely. They built schools, hospitals, roads, and basically gave their infrastructure a 21st century makeover. They even built a really, really big mosque, the Sultan Qaboos Grand Mosque, which is not only a stunning piece of architecture but also a testament to Oman's commitment to its heritage. So, where does that leave Oman today? Imagine a place where you can hike rugged mountains in the morning, dive into crystal-clear waters teeming with coral reefs in the afternoon, and end your day haggling for souvenirs in a bustling souk, all while soaking up the sun and the scent of frankincense. Some things never change. That's Oman in a nutshell. Oman has managed to strike that elusive balance between preserving its rich history and embracing the future. It's a country where ancient forts overlook modern cities, where Bedouin traditions coexist with cutting-edge technology, and where the scent of frankincense still lingers in the air, a reminder of Oman's epic journey through time. So, next time someone says Oman, don't just think frankincense, though still think frankincense. Think history, culture, innovation, and a really, really big mosque.